I just came back from uni, and on the way home, I was thinking about this idea of not knowing. That space where you kind of understand what's going on, but not fully. You are doing your best, but deep down, there is this little confusion about whether you are even doing it. I think a lot about that because it's basically how design and honestly, even life works. I used to think not knowing meant I wasn't ready, that I wasn't good enough, especially when I was starting out, new projects in new countries, new systems. There was always this pressure to have it all figured out. But over the time, I've reached to this conclusion that not knowing is not a weakness. It's actually one of the most important part of the process. Trust me, it's a very important part of the process. Like when I was working on my research project in Singapore, which was about brain-inspired AI hardware design, I knew some of it, like I knew the basics, and I was genuinely excited because I picked that project by myself. But honestly, there was so much to learn because I remember reading papers that made absolute no sense at first because I am not doing computer science, but I was open for it. Everyone around me seemed to get it. Like everyone around me was like, they understand exactly what they are doing. And I was just sitting there thinking, okay, I know something, but definitely not enough. And instead of pretending I knew everything, I started asking questions, all kind of questions, even ones that sounded very basic. And that was the moment when everything changed. And because the moment you accept that you don't know anything, you become open to actually learning. And that's when I remember I started to enjoy the process. And I think as designer or even as people, we try too hard to always have opinions, plans, and answers. But answers don't make you grow, questions do. There is this line by Socrates that says, I know that I know nothing. And I really like that because it's not about giving up on knowledge. It's about staying curious enough to keep discovering. And that's the point of it. For me, that's where the best ideas live, in that space of not knowing everything yet. And I feel this even now when I move between projects or cities from India to Singapore or Spain. It's constant process of unlearning and relearning things. It's not like you have a fixed knowledge in your mind that's gonna be there. You always need to unlearn and relearn things. And the funny thing is, the moment when I don't have full clarity often brings the most creative ideas I ever had. So now I try not to rush that phase anymore. When I start something new, I just remind myself you don't need to know everything right now. And not knowing gives you space for better ideas, for mistakes, for perspectives. It's not something to escape from, it's something to use. We live in a world where we are expected to have opinions, plans, confidence all the time. But maybe it's okay to just say, I don't know. And because the moment you say that, you create a space for something new to enter. So if you are working on something right now, a project or a goal, or even yourself, and you feel lost, remember that it's part of the process. You're not falling behind, you're just learning in real time. You're exploring that space which you have created where you are lost. The art of not knowing isn't about staying confused. It's about trusting that you will figure it out when you are ready. Thank you.